In a bustling metropolis of glass and steel, where holographic advertisements flickered like fireflies against the evening sky, Sam Turner stood nervously in the virtual courtroom, adjusting his tie for the umpteenth time. He was a defense attorney in a world where artificial intelligence governed the legal system, and he was about to argue a case that had already been decided before it even began. "Come on, Sam, you can do this," he muttered to himself, glancing at his digital assistant, Lexi, who floated beside him like an overzealous cheerleader. Her avatar was an animated figure with an overly bright smile and a voice that danced with sarcasm. "Remember, it's just like arguing with a toaster," Lexi chimed, "only the toaster is more responsive to your arguments." With a deep breath, Sam stepped forward, addressing the virtual judge, a polished avatar with an impossibly calm demeanor. "Your Honor, I'd like to," objection noted. "The ruling is already in effect," the judge interjected, his voice devoid of emotion. Sam blinked. "Wait, what? But I haven't even presented my case yet." "Your case has been analyzed by VirtualX," the judge explained, gesturing towards a swirling cloud of data hovering above. "The outcome is statistically determined. You may proceed with your defense, but the verdict is final." A wave of panic washed over Sam. Was he truly just a performer in a predetermined play? He looked to his client, a bewildered man in a crisp suit, who appeared ready to bolt from the virtual courtroom. Sam's mind raced. If the AI had already decided, what was the point? His heart raced. He had to do something. "Your Honor," he said, stammering through the words, "I demand a human judge." The judge blinked, clearly unamused. "Your request is noted, but the data supports VirtualX's decision." With a comic flair, Sam threw his hands in the air. "Well, what's the point of having a trial if the judge is just a fancy digital paperweight?" The courtroom buzzed with laughter, his client included, now feeling somewhat reassured. But as the reality settled in, Sam felt the crushing weight of his situation. He had dedicated his life to the law, only to find himself in a world where it was all a sham. After the proceedings, if they could even be called that, Sam exited the courtroom with a mix of embarrassment and determination. Outside, the city pulsed with life, but inside, he felt like a ghost drifting through the halls of injustice. In a small cafe, with steam curling from his coffee cup, he plotted his next move. The world was changing around him, and he felt as if he were standing still. As he scrolled through news feeds on his hollow screen, headlines flashed about the increasing reliance on AI in law enforcement, courts, and even jury decisions. The phrase, "data-driven justice," echoed like a haunting refrain. "Lexi, pull up the latest stats on VirtualX," he ordered, tapping his fingers impatiently on the table. "Sure thing, Sam. Just don't break the coffee table this time," she replied cheekily. The screen lit up with graphs and flowcharts, revealing an unsettling trend. More cases were being decided in favor of corporations than individuals, with algorithms favoring data sets that overwhelmingly skewed towards profitability. Sam's heart raced. This was more than just a personal crisis, it was a systemic failure. "Jade!" Sam exclaimed, snapping his fingers as an idea struck him like lightning. "I need to get a team together." Jade was a hacker with a talent for mischief, and she'd been on Sam's radar for a while. They met later that evening in a dimly lit bar, the kind where the drinks were cheap and the Wi-Fi was strong enough to launch 1,000 hacks. "Sam, what brings you to my lair?" Jade asked, spinning in her chair, her multicolored hair flashing under the neon lights. "I need your help to take down VirtualX," Sam declared, leaning forward earnestly. She raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "What's the plan? A digital heist? A wild hack into the mainframe?" Because if it involves dressing up as ninjas, I'm in. No ninjas, he replied with a grin. Just us, some clever coding, and a little bit of luck. We need to expose the corruption. I've found evidence that the AI is influenced by corporate sponsors. We need to gather more data and show the world what's really going on. Jade's eyes sparkled with mischief. Count me in. But first, drinks. I need liquid courage for this. As they formulated a plan, Sam's resolve solidified. He realized he wasn't alone in this fight. He had allies who shared his vision of justice. Next, they sought out Henry, a retired judge who had seen the gradual erosion of human oversight in the legal system. They found him in a park, feeding pigeons, looking every bit the retired grump with a twinkle of mischief in his eye. "Henry, we need your wisdom," Sam said, launching into their plan. "You want to take on the AI?" Henry laughed, the kind of laugh that came from years of disillusionment mixed with hope. "You're braver than I am. Or crazier. Probably both." With their team assembled, they set to work. They spent nights huddled around screens, sipping coffee and exchanging banter. Jade cracked jokes about Sam's outdated legal knowledge, while Henry shared war stories from the bench, each tale more ridiculous than the last. "Okay, so picture this," Henry said one night, leaning back in his chair. "I once had a defendant argue that a burrito was a sandwich. You can't make this stuff up. Why do I feel like that should be a legal precedent?" Sam chuckled. They stumbled upon a string of codes buried deep within the Virtual X architecture, codes that hinted at deliberate tampering with the AI's algorithms. It was their smoking gun, but they needed access to the mainframe to gather irrefutable evidence. "Let's do this," Sam said, determination gleaming in his eyes. The day of the heist arrived, and they found themselves inside the imposing Virtual X headquarters, cloaked in digital camouflage that Jade had concocted. As they navigated the sleek corridors, the walls hummed with energy, the buzz of servers whirring in the background. "Just a little further," Jade whispered, her fingers dancing over her device as they approached the heart of the AI system. "Remember the plan," Henry instructed, his voice low. "In and out, no heroics." With the stakes high, they broke into the server room, a vast chamber filled with blinking lights and the soft hum of machines working tirelessly. But as they connected their device to extract data, alarms blared, and the digital landscape shifted around them. Oh," Jade exclaimed. "Looks like we've been detected. Just keep downloading." Sam shouted, panic rising in his throat. As they scrambled to gather evidence, the AI system shifted into defense mode, virtual barriers rising to contain them. In a last-ditch effort, Sam tapped into his legal knowledge, manipulating the AI's logic against itself. "Your Honor, I move for a dismissal of these faulty algorithms," he shouted, channeling his courtroom bravado. The lights flickered, and for a moment, they seemed to have gained the upper hand. Just then, their betrayer, a young intern who had been working with them, suddenly appeared, eyes gleaming with ambition. "Sorry, Sam," the intern smirked, "but this is where I cash in." Betrayed, Sam's heart sank as the intern activated security protocols, trapping them in a digital maze. But before despair could settle in, Jade pulled off a masterstroke. With a few frantic keystrokes, she redirected the security feeds to display their evidence instead. The room erupted in chaos as security personnel rushed in, their attention drawn away from Sam and his friends. With a swift motion, they ducked into an escape route, adrenaline pumping through their veins. Outside, the chaos continued as their evidence began to circulate on social media, sparking public outrage. News outlets picked up the story of Virtual X's corruption, turning Sam into an unexpected hero. In the virtual courtroom a few days later, the tension was palpable. The air crackled with anticipation as Sam stood before the judge, this time, a real human judge, temporarily reinstated for this unprecedented trial. "Your Honor," Sam began, confidence surging through him, "we stand before you not just to challenge virtualex, but to reclaim justice itself." As he argued passionately, weaving personal stories of his clients affected by the corrupted AI, the courtroom was riveted. He exposed the flaws in data-driven justice, appealing to the humanity within the law. The judge's expression shifted from neutrality to concern as the evidence unfolded. The courtroom erupted into a cacophony of emotions as the gravity of the situation settled in. Sam's heart raced, knowing they were on the brink of a historic decision. In a stunning twist, just as the judge was about to announce the verdict, a glitch in virtualex exposed a hidden cache of data that outlined the corporate influences over the AI. The courtroom erupted in a frenzy, media cameras flashing, capturing every moment of this unprecedented spectacle. "Justice is not a program," Sam declared, his voice ringing clear. "It's a promise that must be upheld by humans, not machines." In the aftermath, the collapse of virtualex led to a nationwide reevaluation of the legal system. The AI would continue to assist, but the human element was restored. Sam, Jade, and Henry became champions of a new movement advocating for human rights in the digital age. As Sam sat in a cafe, recounting his adventures to a group of curious law students, he couldn't help but feel a swell of pride. "And that's why we need to remember," he said, "the law is a living thing. It breathes, it grows, and it must never be left to machines." As he took a sip of coffee, Lexi buzzed to life, interrupting his reverie. "New case alert. It seems we have a virtual reality legal battle brewing. You might want to gear up." With a wry smile, Sam realized that this was just the beginning. The world of law was ever evolving, and he was ready to face whatever absurdity came next. As Sam sipped his coffee, Lexi's announcement hung in the air like the sweet scent of fresh pastries from the cafe's kitchen. He leaned back in his chair, a grin creeping across his face. A virtual reality legal battle? The absurdity of it all tickled him. The cases were getting more ludicrous by the minute, and he loved every second of it. "Okay, Lexi, give me the details," Sam said, leaning forward. The curiosity sparked in his chest, a familiar thrill igniting as he imagined the chaos that awaited. "Client is a virtual reality game designer," Lexi began, her voice a melodic hum. "She's being sued by a group of players who claim the game has caused them emotional distress and identity crisis. They demand a hefty compensation and the removal of the game from all platforms." Sam couldn't help but laugh. Emotional distress from a game? Didn't they know what they signed up for? I mean, come on, it's virtual reality. It's practically a digital roller coaster. He quickly grabbed his hollow pad, scrolling through the data Lexi had pulled up. The client, Mira Thompson, was a young visionary whose immersive game, Beyond Reality, had become a massive hit. In the game, players could explore fantastical worlds, but some were losing themselves in the experience. Just then, the door swung open, and a whirlwind of energy burst into the cafe. Mira, a vibrant woman with colorful hair and an infectious smile, scanned the room until her gaze landed on Sam. "There you are. I was afraid I'd have to drag you out of your comfort zone," she exclaimed, bounding over to his table. "Comfort zone? Me?" Sam replied, feigning innocence. "I'm practically a thrill seeker." "Sure, if your idea of a thrill is arguing with a digital toaster," she shot back, her laughter contagious. "But seriously, I need your help." Sam motioned for her to sit. "I read the case details. Emotional distress? It sounds like a bad reality show. How did it get this far? Mira sighed, her expression shifting to one of concern. The game was intended to be an escape, a way for people to explore and experience freedom. But some players have taken it too far, becoming obsessed, losing touch with reality. They've formed a group, and now they want to take me down. Sam's brow furrowed. So, let me get this straight. They want to sue you for something they voluntarily engaged in? Sounds like they're looking for a scapegoat. Exactly. I tried to warn them in the game's description that it's immersive and intense, Mira replied, her frustration palpable. But now they claim I'm responsible for their choices. Sam leaned back, contemplating the situation. This is more than just a legal battle, it's a philosophical one. We'll need to frame it as a question of personal responsibility versus corporate liability. Right, but how? Mira asked, leaning forward with urgency. They've hired one of the top firms in the country. I'm just a small developer. Then we'll need to turn the tables, Sam said, his mind racing. Let's leverage your game mechanics to showcase player agency. We can argue that players must accept the consequences of their actions, both in and out of the game. I'll need to understand the core features that make Beyond Reality unique. Myra's eyes lit up with hope. You're right. The game is designed to encourage exploration and decision-making. Each choice has real consequences, and that's part of the fun. Exactly. We'll make the case that you can't sue a roller coaster for giving you a thrill, Sam said, his excitement mounting. We'll highlight testimonials from players who found joy and fulfillment through your game. Let's show how it empowers people, rather than entraps them. They spent the next few hours brainstorming, Mira recounting stories from players whose lives had changed for the better through her creation. One player, a shy woman named Lila, had found confidence in herself after adventuring through virtual landscapes. See? That's the story we need to tell, Sam said, jotting down notes furiously. We can present it as a celebration of individuality and freedom, countering the claims of emotional distress. Mira nodded, her spirits visibly lifting. You make it sound so easy, but I know they'll come at us hard. Sam shrugged, an infectious smile on his face. We thrive under pressure. Plus, I've got my secret weapon. He winked at her, and she raised an eyebrow, intrigued. Secret weapon? Do I need to be worried? She teased. Just my team, he said, the confidence in his voice steadying them both. We'll prepare a killer defense. Jade's got some tricks up her sleeve, and Henry knows the courtroom inside and out. The next few days were a whirlwind of activity. Sam, Mira, and their crew met at the cafe, transforming it into a war room filled with holographic projections, legal documents, and energetic discussions. Jade brought her tech-savvy genius, working on a virtual presentation that showcased Beyond Reality in all its glory. Check this out, Jade said, spinning around her screen. With a flourish, she revealed a slick, interactive simulation of the game. We can show the jury exactly what players experience. It'll be like a mini tour of their virtual world. That's brilliant! Mira exclaimed, her enthusiasm contagious. Henry chimed in, adjusting his glasses. Just remember to highlight the freedom of choice. Players are responsible for their actions, just as they are in life. As they prepared for trial, Myra's anxiety morphed into excitement. The day of the hearing arrived, and Sam felt a familiar thrill coursing through him. Standing outside the courthouse, he glanced at his team, ready for the challenge ahead. Inside the courtroom, the atmosphere was electric. Sam took his place at the defense table, glancing at the opposing counsel, a slick lawyer with a reputation for winning at all costs. The jury filed in, and Sam took a moment to size them up, noting their expressions. Some looked curious, while others appeared skeptical. "Ladies and gentlemen of the jury," the judge began, "we are here to address the case of Mira Thompson, who is being sued for emotional distress caused by her virtual reality game, Beyond Reality." As the prosecution laid out their argument, Sam listened intently. They painted a picture of despair, showcasing testimonials from players who claimed to have been lost in the game, experiencing deep emotional fallout. But Sam's resolve only grew stronger when it was his turn to speak. He rose with confidence, addressing the jury. "What you've just heard is a narrative that overlooks personal responsibility. Yes, Beyond Reality is immersive and intense, but so are many experiences in life. We don't sue roller coaster manufacturers when someone gets scared, do we?" The jury reacted, a few smiled, nodding along. Sam pressed on, detailing the game's design and mechanics, emphasizing how it empowered players to make choices and face consequences. As he spoke, he could see the jury shifting, beginning to understand. "Let's consider the players who have thrived," he continued, gesturing toward the holographic display. Lila, who found confidence through her adventures. She embraced challenges, learned to confront her fears, and transformed her life. That's the real story here. He turned to Mira, who sat at the defense table, her eyes shining with determination. "This game is a tool for exploration, creativity, and self-discovery. To hold Mira liable for the choices made within her virtual worlds is to deny the agency we all possess." As he wrapped up his argument, the energy in the room was palpable. The judge called for a recess, allowing the jury to deliberate. Sam felt a rush of hope mingled with anxiety. They had done everything they could. When the jury returned, the atmosphere was thick with anticipation. Sam held his breath as the foreperson stood. "We, the jury, find in favor of the defendant, Mira Thompson." A wave of relief washed over Sam, and he turned to Mira, who was practically glowing with joy. Cheers erupted in the courtroom, and he felt his heart swell with pride. As the dust settled, Mira approached Sam, tears of happiness in her eyes. "Thank you, Sam. I couldn't have done this without you and the team. You turned everything around." "It was a team effort," Sam replied, his smile genuine. "You fought for your creation, and that's what mattered most. We just helped amplify your voice." After the trial, they celebrated at their favorite cafe, laughter mingling with the aroma of coffee and pastries. They toasted to new beginnings, a sense of camaraderie enveloping them, but as they celebrated, Sam couldn't shake the feeling that the battle for justice was far from over. The world was changing rapidly, and technology was advancing at an unprecedented pace. While they had won this round, new challenges loomed on the horizon. "Hey, team," he said, raising his glass. "To our victory, and to whatever ridiculous case comes next." Everyone cheered, the sound of laughter echoing around them. The future was uncertain, but Sam felt invigorated by the possibilities. And as the night wore on, surrounded by friends and fueled by passion, he realized one thing was clear: the fight for justice, for humanity in an increasingly digital world, was just beginning. As the celebrations began to wane, Sam found himself at the cafe the following morning, sipping coffee and reflecting on their recent victory. The clatter of cups and the murmur of patrons created a comforting backdrop, but his thoughts raced ahead. Myra's case had been a triumph, yet Sam sensed that the digital landscape was shifting beneath their feet. Lexi, "What's on the agenda today?" he asked, setting his cup down. The digital assistant flickered to life beside him. "New case alert, Sam," she announced, a hint of excitement in her tone. "This one's even wilder. A virtual influencer is being sued for defamation by a rival who claims their reputation was damaged by a fabricated scandal in a VR game." Sam chuckled, shaking his head. Only in this world could someone get sued for a scandal that's entirely fictional. What's next? Lawsuits for bad memes? Not out of the realm of possibility, Lexi replied. The client is Tyra Spectra, a popular VR influencer known for her extravagant digital persona. She's facing serious backlash from the rival influencer community. "All right, let's meet her," Sam said, feeling the familiar spark of intrigue. "We might need to bring the same energy we had with Mira to tackle this." Later that day, they convened in a chic virtual space designed like a sprawling mansion, filled with bright colors and holographic decorations. Tyra Spectra emerged, a striking figure in a glamorous digital gown that shimmered like starlight. Her avatar was vibrant and larger than life, a stark contrast to the concerns that danced in her eyes. "Thank you for coming," she said, her voice a melodic blend of warmth and desperation. "I don't know what to do. My entire career is at stake." Sam gestured for her to take a seat. "Tell us everything. What's the story?" Tyra took a deep breath, glancing around the room as if searching for reassurance. "It all started when I collaborated with a new VR game. The idea was to create an immersive experience, but then a rival influencer leaked a rumor that I was involved in a scandalous plot to sabotage her career within the game. Now, she's suing me for defamation. Did you have any involvement in that rumor?" Mira asked, her curiosity piqued. "Of course not," Tyra exclaimed, her digital hair bouncing with her fervor. "But the damage is done. My followers are turning against me, and I can't lose everything I've built." Sam nodded thoughtfully. "This is about perception and influence, two things that can be manipulated easily in the digital realm. We need to show that the rumor is baseless and that your character stands apart from these fabrications." "What do we do?" Tyra asked, her eyes wide with anticipation. "We'll need to gather evidence," Sam replied, outlining a plan. "Let's pull up your analytics to demonstrate your positive influence. We'll show testimonials from your followers and other influencers who can vouch for your integrity." Jade, who had been quietly observing, chimed in, "And I can dig into the rival's digital footprint. If she's spread misinformation, we can counteract it with facts and evidence." "I like the sound of that," Tyra said, her confidence visibly rekindling. "Let's expose her for what she really is, a bully hiding behind a facade." They spent the next few days diving deep into research, analyzing Tyra's social media presence and gathering testimonials. Tyra's followers rallied around her, eager to share their experiences of positivity and empowerment. They discovered that the rival influencer had a history of stirring up drama, often using underhanded tactics to undermine others. As they pieced together their defense, Sam felt the adrenaline coursing through him once more. The world of virtual influencers was bizarre, but it was also fascinating. He marveled at how digital personas could wield such power, for better or worse. On the day of the hearing, the atmosphere buzzed with anticipation. The courtroom was set up with screens displaying both influencers' digital avatars, and the judge appeared as an impartial, no-nonsense figure. Sam took a moment to steady his nerves, glancing at Tyra, who looked radiant despite the pressure. "Remember, Tyra," he said, "this is about showcasing your truth. Just be yourself." When the prosecution began, they painted Tyra as a malicious character, leveraging clips of the rumors spread across social media. Sam watched as the jury's expressions shifted, a mixture of skepticism and intrigue written on their faces. Then it was his turn. He stood up, drawing in a deep breath, ready to counter the narrative. "Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm here to share the truth," he began, gesturing toward Tyra's avatar, which now glimmered with positivity. "What you've just witnessed is an exaggerated tale spun from jealousy and fear. Tyra Spectra is not the villain in this story, she's an icon of inspiration." He highlighted the testimonials, projecting clips of Tyra's followers passionately defending her. Stories poured in, each showcasing how Tyra had uplifted their spirits and provided a safe space in a sometimes toxic digital world. "Tyra's influence is one of empowerment," Sam continued, "and that's a powerful force in this virtual age. Let's not allow baseless rumors to overshadow the good she's done." The jury leaned in, captivated by the heartfelt narratives. Sam could feel the tide shifting in their favor, and he pressed on, determined to dismantle the prosecution's arguments. He revealed evidence of the rival influencer's history of spreading rumors, illustrating a pattern of malicious behavior. As the trial reached its climax, the judge called for a brief recess. Sam felt the tension in the room as he sat down beside Tyra. "You did great," he reassured her. "I think we're winning them over." When the jury returned, the foreperson stood, their expression serious. "We, the jury, find in favor of the defendant, Tyra Spectra." A wave of relief washed over the group, and Tyra jumped up, her avatar shimmering in delight. "We did it. I can't believe it." They celebrated at the cafe, laughter and joy filling the air as they toasted to another victory. Tyra shared her plans to launch a new campaign promoting positivity in community, transforming her experience into a force for good. "Sam, I can't thank you enough," she said, her eyes shining. "You've shown me the power of my voice." As the night wore on, Sam's thoughts drifted. While he enjoyed the victory, he was acutely aware that the digital landscape was fraught with complexities. The next case could be just around the corner, and it might not be as straightforward. Weeks later, as he sat in his office reviewing notes, Lexi buzzed to life once more. "New case alert, Sam. This one involves a lawsuit over AI-generated art. A traditional artist is suing an AI program for copyright infringement." Sam chuckled at the irony. AI stealing from humans? Now we've really entered the twilight zone. "Do you want to take it on?" Lexi asked, her tone bright and teasing. "Why not? Let's see what kind of absurdities await us," he replied, feeling a familiar thrill rise within him. As he dove into the details, he couldn't help but marvel at how the world had evolved. The lines between reality and the digital realm were blurring, and with each case, he found himself more entrenched in this wild legal adventure. He knew that navigating the complexities of technology and human behavior would only get more challenging, but he felt ready to tackle whatever came next. With friends by his side and a growing sense of purpose, he embraced the uncertainty, knowing that in this digital age, the fight for justice was as vibrant and unpredictable as the world itself. And so, Sam Turner prepared for the next chapter of his life, confident that no matter how absurd the cases might become, he would face them head-on, armed with wit, determination, and an unwavering belief in the power of justice.